Do you know what it feels like to finally reach some clarity on something you've been striving to untangle inside of you that's been clawing at you and has been escaping language, escaping any traditional placement in any old stories or anecdotes? It's a riddle that's just been beating around inside of you, kind of gnawing at you, pulling at you, trying to find a way to express itself, but you're not able to put words to it. And when you try every once in a while and test it, they just don't quite fit. Well, I've been doing that for about 10 years with this part of me. And I've worked a long, long part of my life from some gifts that my mother and father gave me, some direction that I respected and followed and did the best that I could to act upon. And upon my father's death 15 years ago, I saw myself really trying to step up and do more, really reach the optimal potential, because I realized I was following some of my father's instructions in life, and some of those were serving my higher purpose, and some of them were serving the best intentions that he could imagine. And as I'd gone out into the world and learned more, with all due respect to his perspective that formed some of my early perspectives in life, I wanted to expand upon, to amplify what he had blessed me with. But I found myself in this abyss because for many years I was acting upon instructions in kind of a template that I had inherited from my mother and father and my environment around me when I was growing up. And I had transferred that into business and into athletics and become highly amenable to the motives and the forces that were at play in those environments. I found I had this ability to attract powerful and influential people. And then I also had the ability to work with the more, the common people in companies and translate with my some of my engineering and technology and my insights that I was able to find into other people that I was working around, kind of like my teammates in athletics. I could get into this flow state and lead a company or a group, into, a higher level of performance. And of course, the people that owned the companies that had investments that I could help amplify and increase returns from, they were really thrilled with that. So I was using that, and it was not leading to satisfaction. So what I found myself after my father passed was trying to take out those people that I had been serving and find a way to really serve my higher purpose. And I always felt my higher purpose was some more spiritual calling or artistic or, making something more clear for my fellow man. Because although I was working with the, more common person to help amplify their productivity and try to enhance them and actually to try to create some more freedom in their lives, I was at the same time, I was finding myself looking over my shoulder and seeing that the real beneficiary of the work that I was doing were the owners of the companies. And I wasn't necessarily in total alignment with their values. So it's taken 10 years of sitting out, examining myself, trying to get clear about what that calling is that has been gnawing at me. And it just today, I was able to examine some aspects of that and speak more clearly to it as I'm trying to right now. I'm not sure if YouTube's the best audience for this. I'm hoping someone is out there that's listening that might relate and find some benefit and value from this. But it's clear after 10 years since losing it all that the event that marked the beginning of finding what I'm looking for all my life was losing it. And then also when my dad died, that's when my promise to sustain his wishes for me began to fade. And I began really, in retrospect, to look to God rather than to find ways to sustain myself through business or athletics or some of the more practical and probably more common places that someone might look for filling aspirations in their life. And that was 15 years ago that he passed. So I was challenged with promoting interest of the rich and powerful, transferring my abilities and energy to devote to something deeper and more meaningful, to being service to God and mankind, rather than what had become clear to me as a self-serving, rich and powerful people that were misaligned with my own values, and in some cases with respect for my fellow man. Now, I'm not trying to paint myself as a good guy. I have a huge shadow, a dark side, a temper, and a passion that when I was younger took me off purpose. Clearly, I have a big ego, big enough to survive some crazy stuff. And I'm willing to make exceptional and unusual commitments to get aligned with the higher power that may be available to me. And that's why I fast, I train hard, I use extreme hot and cold, I ignore common illusions that kind of govern much of society, and I spend time alone in prayer and meditation. So I've been doing some research today, and I wanted to share this with you along 3 lines of examination. One was a chapter in the Bible that stuck with me since I was a kid. Another was looking at some astrology. And then there's another one that I think you might find interesting. I'll let you try to figure out what that third one is. So finding purpose and creativity in the unknown. And that's where I found myself really after my father passed, and then when I saw the instructions from my father not really leading me to my deeper purpose, but really had kind of set the stage because it was giving me the lessons in life and building the talents and abilities and confidence in me to operate in the world. But the void that was missing was real purpose. And a lot of the people that I came in and I encountered when I started trying to tap into the creativity and spirit were, like actor coaches and, people in finance and Hollywood, money. And, they were really trying to, I think they were used to working with selfish people. And I know there's a degree of selfishness in anyone that is working on something that has been called on them. But it's different than someone selfishly trying to, promote themselves for some, for just attention, or someone that's trying to show off, or someone that is trying to get rich, because that's how they can satisfy a bunch of their ego needs and wants. And and that really frustrated me whenever I encountered those people, and they would try to label me as someone that was trying to pursue fame or, fill needs that were so commonly neglected amongst people that were pursuing the arts. And I wasn't trying to, it wasn't like I could do just anything and reach a popularity and be satisfied. No, I've been looking for something that seemed like it was really engaging in my heart and soul that I could bring forward. And I'm still in this area of working with myself where it's a mystery to me. But I do find myself as I'm working daily, I'm in prayer, I'm in connection, I'm looking for, I'm taking some risk, I'm putting something out there just like this to try to reach people and bring value to other people's lives. And it's coming, my hope is, through me as a channel, as a conduit from a greater power, from something that is bigger than me. So I'm embracing the mystery, and there's this unknown spirit that guides us as a source of profound wisdom and inspiration. I'm trying to surrender to the mystery that allows us to tap into a wellspring of creativity and purpose. When we release our grip on certainty, we open ourselves to the limitless possibilities of the universe. When we release our grip on certainty, we open ourselves to the limitless possibilities of the universe. Do you know how to loosen your grip on certainty? Letting go of selfish pursuits. True fulfillment comes from contributing to something greater than ourselves. Pursuing wealth, status, or personal gain ultimately leaves us feeling empty and disconnected. By letting go of selfish motives, we create space for a higher purpose to emerge. And have you ever thought about listening to the whispers of the soul? Our deepest sense of meaning arises from within, not from external validation or material success. Taking time for introspection and solitude allow us to hear the quiet voice of our inner guidance. Trusting our intuition, even when it leads us into uncharted territory, is an act of faith and courage. And how about transforming wounds into wisdom? That's right, wounds into wisdom. The challenges and crises we face are often catalysts of profound personal growth and transformation. By embracing our wounds and vulnerabilities, we develop a more compassionate understanding of ourselves and others. Our deepest struggles can become a source of healing and wisdom when we have the courage to face them head on. Do you even know how to do that? And then serving a higher calling. True purpose is found in using our unique gifts and talents in service of something greater than ourselves. When we align our actions with our deepest values and the needs of the world, we tap into a boundless source of inspiration and creativity. Contributing to the well-being of others without expectation of reward is the highest expression of our humanity. Doing something without An expectation of reward is the highest expression of our humanity. Examine that. And then there's the concept of walking by faith, not by sight. Pursuing a life of purpose requires a leap of faith, even when the path ahead is uncertain. Like the heroes of faith in Hebrews 11, we must be willing to follow our convictions even when we cannot see the final destination. Trusting that the unknown spirit is guiding us towards our highest good, even in the face of adversity. That's the essence of a purpose-driven life. And then how about becoming light in the darkness? In a world filled with suffering and uncertainty, those who have found their purpose become beacons of hope and inspiration. By sharing our own journey of transformation and the wisdom we have gained, we light the way for others who are struggling to find meaning. As we embrace the mystery and follow the unknown spirit, we become co-creators of a more compassionate, connected, and purpose-filled work. I hope this is of benefit to somebody out there, because what I've just shared was a lifelong longing that I've felt to connect with others and open myself up without a preconditioned, contrived message about how you could do this or how you could do that. And by that I mean, I'm just trying to be myself and be open and honest and clear in offering my deepest and heartfelt best wishes for my fellow man. And at the same time, recognizing that this message is not for everybody. And it's also rooted in a lot of trial and effort. I mean, I've posted dozens or hundreds of YouTube videos over the past 4 or 5 years on various channels, testing out different methods, working through some issues that I have in talking to a camera, a machine, and working off of some concepts that seem to be tugging at my soul, that seem like they've been limited in their expression and in connecting to my fellow man. And of course, this is not the only channel that I'm using. You know, I do meet with other individuals and even a few groups and try to experiment with what the spirit that's working through me is trying to achieve. But I do continue to try to use this medium for a feedback loop, for a chance of reaching a larger audience that might not be before me directly in my sphere of influence here in Austin, Texas. So if you've watched this far, I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best. I'm Roach, Mark Roach. Take care.